Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're going to be continuing my 3 looks, 1 palette series. The next palette we're going to be focusing on is the PatrickTa Major Dimensions. This is the OG palette. As you can see, mine has gotten quite a bit of love. So I'm actually really excited to film these 3 looks because I love using this palette. So yeah, also if you don't have this palette but you have a neutral palette, you can follow along, and I'm sure maybe there will be some inspiration of color combos, etc. I have gotten good feedback in that area as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the video, you guys. Okay, so my eyes are already primed with my Urban Decay Potion Primer. I figured we would go in with the creams first to get those out of the way, because I know a lot of people are always like curious about the creams. And I'm gonna go into the lightest cream here. And to be honest with you guys, I don't really use the creams, and it's not because they're like bad. I just think that it is an extra step because these particular creams need to be set with a powder. So if I'm setting them with a powder, why not just go in with the powder? Like, you know what I mean? I do think that they are really pretty, but just for that reason, I don't really use them. It's an extra step that I don't want to do or have the time to do. So I have tested the creams out enough to have like a good like vibe for them of how they work and whatnot. I did that when I first got it, and I do use the creams every now and then. Just it's not something that I do on a regular or like daily basis. Just because, like I said, I feel like it's an extra step. These are also very pigmented, which nothing wrong with that. I would just be mindful. I got kind of heavy over here. Literally Tito did not want to go outside with anybody else, and now he's in here barking because he's the only one inside. I'm like, God damn it, will you just make up your mind? Now I'm gonna use just a little bit of a clean fluffy brush. I'm just gonna go back over these edges to make sure they're blended halfway decently. I'm also aware that my hair is an absolute mess. I've had the longest work week, but I really needed to film this. And after this, I'm just gonna take the most like glorious, well-deserved shower. So we're just letting the rest of this happen. So now that I got that down, that's the thing, I don't know. It might be weird if I go in with a lighter one. No, it won't be, okay. I'm gonna go in with this shade here, and I'm just gonna tap this on, which all of these shades, you guys, are really pigmented. You don't need a lot, which is nice. It's gonna last you a while. But see what I mean? I just have to set this cream. But now I won't have any issues with creasing or anything like that. But that's the thing. If I'm already having to set it down, I just feel like I could have done this step quicker with the powders, and maybe that's just because powders are more of my comfort zone. I also feel like going in with the powder helps to even it out, because I feel like the creams on their own can get a little bit uneven in my experience. So if I go in and set it with the powder, it really just evens that situation out. I feel like I could have done without the creams, honestly, but they're there. And now I'm gonna go in, let's go in with this shade here, and that's what I'm gonna use on the outer edge there. This, if you guys can't tell, is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. I just feel like every time I do a look with it, I'm so happy with it. Looks so good. It wears really long. A lot of the looks that I do are kind of similar, but they're pretty and I enjoy it. The formula is easy to work with, so This is one that I find myself like always wanting to reach for, but I don't, because like when I first got it, like, I mean, look at this, you guys. I have 4 pans on this palette. I had to like force myself to set it aside to use something else because I really love it. And I think obviously if you're not, you know, a neutrals lover, then you won't enjoy this palette. I also think that there are other quality neutral shadows out there on the market. But this one is good and I really enjoy it. Like, I feel like this already looks so pretty. I am gonna go in with my NYX glitter primer. You don't have to do this step with these. I've tried it without and it's fine. It's just a step that I personally enjoy doing. Gives the shadows a little bit more of a pop in my personal opinion and holds everything down and in much better. So I do like to use a glitter primer, and this is what I'm going in with any kind of shimmer. If you've been here, then you know I typically use a shimmer. I also would say that these particular shades, like these shades, work a lot better with your finger than with a brush, so I'd be mindful of that. I'm just gonna go into the orange one here. I've already got it on my finger, and I'm gonna put it in the center here because I'm gonna go over it with that deeper shade that I have in the palette. So just give me a second. I do find on my lids that these two look kind of similar, but you know. Now I'm gonna go in with this shade here, and that's what I'm gonna take all over. Oh yeah, I love this shade. It is so stinking pretty. I don't even know if it's picking up like the coppery bronze bowl it has on the camera, but wow, it is so pretty. And I'm just going over all of it because we're still gonna get that reflect coming through really nicely. So yeah, baby. Like literally just so pretty. Camera does this look no justice. Like, it is just a neutral lover's dream. And you can achieve like the most basic matte looks with it, but you can also achieve the most like shimmery glam situation with it. Like, I'm obsessed. Literally why I wanted to do this one next for my 3 Looks 1 palette, because I haven't reached for it in a long time, and I was like, this will give me an excuse to allow myself to reach for it. So I am gonna go ahead, pop off, clean up the under eyes, do the rest of my face, and then I'll be back. Okay, you guys, so here is the finished look. I really love how it came out. Of course, I will insert a closer up shot of it, so hopefully you can see a little more of the beauty going on with my lid. All I did, I used a mixture of these two on the lower lash line there. Then I did take a little bit of this icy shade, and I put just like a dab of that on my inner corner. I'm not super into big inner corner like highlights, but I thought it'd be nice just to put a little something in there. But yeah, the bottom line, like when I use this, it's the way that it makes me feel. Like, it always makes me feel so pretty. I think it's a mixture of, I really love these kinds of tones on my skin tone and on my eye color, have a lot to do with it. But I always just feel like a badass when I'm wearing this palette. So yeah, this is look number 1. I hope that you guys liked it. Let's go ahead and jump into look number 2. Okay, so I already have my eyelids primed, and we're gonna get rolling with look number 2. I'm actually gonna go, don't smack me. I'm gonna go back into this light cream shade. I know I was literally just like, I never really use this shade, and like that is so true. But this morning I woke up super early because I couldn't sleep. So I have the extra time and I'm being mindful. So I was like, well, why not use the cream? I have the time to use the cream again. So we're going to use it again. Don't worry, I'm not going to use it for my last look. But I thought we'd use it today because I want to do something like pretty dark and chocolatey. And I feel like with all of these shades, if you start it with a cream base, you get more of a color payoff. You know, if you're doing like a pastel look and you start off with like a white base, you get a lot better color payoff. So let's get chocolatey. But yeah, I just thought that'd be a good idea. And while I'm being mindful of it, I'm getting some use out of the shade. So woohoo! And I have to get this out of the way. I'm filming this on like my Monday. So I'm actually like awake early and stuff because usually I sleep so bad throughout the week that by the time I get to the end of the week, I really struggle to wake up. So yeah, let's do, I wonder what this shade right here with like the sparkles, I wonder what that would look like on top of this. I will say this shade and this shade are my least used shades, and they're interesting. They're like a powder, but they are, when you swatch them, they're creamier. Like they have a very velvety finish, and I don't know why I don't use them. I don't gravitate toward those ones. So I thought we would use it today. And as you can see, similar to yesterday, it's really just evening out that cream really well. Because yeah, I just don't think I could do the cream on its own because it's just, as you can see, like a little bit patchy by itself. So yeah, but I think it looks really pretty. And this has like some sparkles in it, but they're very, very subtle, even in like real life. So if you're like one of those people that's like, I hate sparkles and mattes, like I don't think that it affects the formula poorly or anything like that. I don't think it's super like in your face. Also wanted to, something I was thinking about yesterday, you don't get a lot of fallout with this either, which is really nice as well. I am over blending a little bit over here, so I'm gonna wipe that clean off. But yeah, filming this before work, so I'm just like trying to get my coffee mode on. That kind of vibe. Then I'm gonna take this dark shade right here, and that's what I'm gonna use on the outer today. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have used the dark cream shade in here one time, but like that's maybe it. I don't really know what I would use it for, especially like on my skin tone personally, because even if I like layered up the creams like this, I would still have to go over them. But I'm just not, I don't think it would look good on me to go straight in with that dark shade. I don't know, maybe I'll have to try it just for shits and gigs. But I think it'd be a little bit more suited for a deeper complexion. Can you guys hear the crickets on your end? Because they are loud as hell over here. Literally, and our neighbors more recently got like chickens, roosters, and ducks. So get to hear all that in the morning. Love that. The rooster has calmed down a little there for a couple weeks. It was rough. It was very loud and obnoxious, but it does seem to have calmed down a bit, thank goodness. So I was like, we're gonna have to do something about that. Because it was like going off like in the middle of the night, like wasn't even morning time. It was the middle of the night. And I was like, nope, not for me. I already don't sleep. Shoosh. Just gonna add a little bit more over there. And then I think what I'm gonna do is just take this brush again that had the lighter shade on it and just go up around here to kind of blend those together and make sure we get some of that like lighter brown back at the top. That looks nice. Now I think I'm gonna go in, and hopefully this is gonna look okay. I'm gonna go in with this shade first, and then I'm gonna top it with this shade. So I'm gonna pull out my NYX glitter glue. Can you guys hear Hector running around? He's got the zoomies. Getting his little morning laps in. It's so cute. All right, so like I said, I'm just gonna go in with this, and I think these work better when you use your fingers. And I'm gonna just take it in the center, kind of like we did with the first look in the orange. Okay, and then we're gonna dip into this deeper shade over here with my finger a little bit. And it's interesting because like this shimmer isn't the same formula as these three. So this one's different, which is interesting. There we go. And you can just see that come through a little, like there's just a smidge of a light shift. But I do think I want to add just a little bit on the lash line here, just to bring that brightness up some. I'm getting this palette all dirty. Okay, so I'm going to jump off, clean everything up, finish the face, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here is finished look number 2. I think it looks freaking gorgeous. It's like in person, it's pretty chocolatey, but then it has like an orange pole. Really, really pretty. I'll insert a close-up so you guys can see it. Like I said, all these looks kind of pull a little bit similar. There's just like subtle differences, but either way, I love the tones on me, so I don't even care. Like, you know, oh, it's just so pretty. Like, oh, and the way that it like sparkles and stuff in person, absolutely gorgeous. All I did to finish it up was just take a little bit of this matte shade on the lower lash line, and then I popped a smidge of the orange shimmer on the inner corner just to bring a little bit of brightness back, as well as I used a little bit of a cream liner on the inner third of my eye just to bring some of that back. But yeah, really, really love this look. And like I said, this look just makes me feel like, so I'm gonna go to work today with an attitude, but anyways, yeah, this is look number 2, and let's go ahead and roll into look number 3. Okay, so third and final look. Here we go. And I'm not gonna start with the creams, even though I low-key want to. I don't know. I've really just been liking the way that it looked with the creams. I know I talked some shit about the creams in the beginning, but maybe I just hadn't given them a proper chance. But yeah, so I'm gonna go into this shade here first to start. And I don't know if you guys will be able to tell the difference in the texture just from the swatch, but the texture is different. So I'm gonna go in and set with this shade, which the makeup still should turn out fine. I just think that the texture difference is interesting to me anyways, and I'm sure if you're like a makeup connoisseur, like you will as well. Because this texture and this texture are the same, where they're like really like soft. I don't know, it's so interesting. So interesting. And now I'm just gonna start slowly building it up, and I'm gonna go into this light shade here as well. Not sure if this step is necessary, but we're doing it, and I think it looks nice with this gradual buildup. I have a lot of time this morning. I just have not been sleeping well, you guys. Like, work is just so crazy, and I cannot turn my mind off about it when I go to sleep. And I'm like having nightmares and waking up thinking about to-do lists. Like, it is just crazy times. Now I'm gonna go in with this really pretty brick shade here, and that's just what I'm gonna use out there. I'm gonna leave this part a little bit lighter today, I think. And then we'll go over it with some of those lighter like shimmer slash taupe shades, I think. But yeah, I've used this shade literally so much, and you cannot even tell. Like, the B is still pretty much intact. Like, it's so crazy. Because they're so, like, pigmented. Like, I'm barely dipping my brush into the product, you guys. Like, I'm literally just, like, going in. Which I don't know if that's, like, helpful to show you guys, like, how I dip into the product and stuff. If it is, let me know, and I'll definitely try to be more mindful to show you. But if you don't care, then I don't care, you know? But yeah. What is today? Oh my gosh, Wednesday. I feel like, so I started filming this on Labor Day week, and I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with 4-day weeks. One, I love them because I think every week should be a 4-day week. But two, because it's not ever a 4-day week. I always feel so confused, and like the week is so long because I'm like behind a day or whatever. But yeah, I think we should always have 4-day weeks, honestly. It would make for a better work-life balance. That is for darn sure. All right, now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my NYX primer and just tap that on the lid. Now, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with this lighter shade here first, and I'm just gonna go in, coat my finger, and bring it up the center, kind of like we have the other days. I really just enjoy layering these topper shades. I think that they mesh well together, and it gives the look more dimension, at least in person it does. So that's really why I like doing it. It gives it a little spice. And then I'm gonna go into this shade here and go over it. Okay, see how the lid literally just looks like wet? Yeah, these are literally insane. I'm gonna pop off, do the rest of my face, and then I'll be back for some final thoughts. Okay, you guys, so here is the third and final look. I haven't put my work sweater on yet because my beauty room is hot, but I love how this came out. These toppers just give the lid the most beautiful, wet, shimmery, glittery look. Like, it is truly so beautiful. And even in the close-ups, I don't really think that it's portrayed the way that it looks when you're in person. Like, literally every time I have this palette on my eyes, I get compliments. So yeah, and I do think that this look looks fairly different from the others. The base isn't quite as dark, and I guess that's a difference. If you want like a lighter look, don't go in with that cream base and just build yourself up with the powders. But as you guys saw when I started with the cream, that really just honed in and gave us a deeper pigmentation and gave us a darker eye look overall. So really it's going to be up to your preference. I highly recommend this palette. I will warn you, I do think the packaging is pretty freaking cheap for the price point, which is really disappointing. I don't like that about it, but inside I think is 110% worth it. The mattes are great, easy to blend. You get a couple different textures in there. And then with the toppers, they just layer beautifully and add dimension to any look that you're doing. Like, obviously I love them, you guys. And then the creams, I'm kind of coming around on. They weren't something that I would use before, but then again, maybe it was more of like a comfortability type thing. And now that I'd used them twice, I was like, man, I kind of really like how the look comes out when I'm, you know, prepping it with a cream. I still want to dabble in the darker one, because let me just compare them for you guys. This is the darker one. This is the lighter one. So I do want to play with this darker one and see kind of what that would look like on my lid in terms of what I can do with it. But I will say, if you are using the cream, be sure to set it with one of the powders. Not only is it going to help even everything out, but it's also going to really help with longevity. I personally don't experience any creasing at all with this palette. I highly recommend that you use an eyeshadow primer. I recommend that for all palettes, so that just kind of is what it is. But yeah, I love this one. I loved all the looks that I created with it. I hope that you guys too.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I loved all the looks that I created with it, and I hope that you guys did too. If you did, please go ahead and subscribe before you leave, and don't forget to hit the big thumbs up button. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!